Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the Views Expressed live. Yes, live. Yes, we are not a podcast. We are live right here on all parts of the world in the United States on the internet, broadcasting live on wakingupthemasses.com, 1610 a.m. in the Chickamauga, Georgia area, on Spreaker.com, and on freeamericaradio.us. You've got me broadcasting live behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9 from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. This is the Views Expressed Live. How y'all doing today? It is the 15th of May. We have got a lot to go through today. Other than what you see on Free America Radio on Facebook. There we go. A little bit easier for me to do this. Had to adjust my chair. But other than what we have on Free America Radio on Facebook, there is a lot to discuss. I put up a podcast earlier, a Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. Just a little something, just my views, my perspective. Please check it out. Let me know what you think. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. I really think that we really need to pay more attention to what's going on, don't you? TheBlaze.com. Harry Reid wants to amend the Constitution. That boy needs to get out of office right now, period. Also from Rifles and Reasons on Facebook. Something about the Second Amendment you might want to read. Here's the big story from LibertyNews.com. And you folks should check it out yourself as well. But I'll give you this. Political power play. American Muslim groups unite ahead of 2014 midterms. How much influence do they have? Well, they want it all. I don't care. They want it all. Now, growing up in Stockton, California, I can tell you that I've met Muslims. Around here in Reno, I talk to them. Let me tell you something. The ones I talk to, they're the nicest people on the face of the planet. They'll give you their shirt off their back if you need it. But they even said that these radical jihadists that are out there that want to wipe out America and all that, they're the dumbest people on the face of the planet. Okay? So, figure that one out, folks. Figure that one out. Hey, in the Spreaker chat, we have the one and only member of SRC Paranormal, Mr. Philip Pierce. He is in a hiatus from shows, so he's doing a lot of work, doing a lot of things, little personal things going on in his life, so we hope he gets everything back together and gets back on the air. So, anyway, hello, Mr. Paranormal Phil, right there. So, anyway, Gonna go to the break here in about 30 seconds, and we'll be back, and I'll start off with that LibertyNews.com article about the Muslim group coming together prior to the 2014 midterm elections. Lots of stuff going on. You want to email me? Please do. FreeAmericaRadio at USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio at USA.com. The website is FreeAmericaRadio.us. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Tearing down the walls that stand between freedom and tyranny, revealing who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, sharing the truth one fact at a time, broadcasting from behind enemy lines, from the biggest little city in the world. This is The Views Expressed Live. Hey, folks, this is The Views Expressed Live right here on the Free America Radio Network. Yes, how are you today? How are you today? This is the 15th of May, 2014, and we are here blasting the bullhorn of freedom throughout America. I am your 44 Magnum of freedom. Trust me. Do you feel lucky? Well, do ya, punk? Anyway, folks, what can I say? It's Thursday. It's Thursday, or in some cases, it's already Friday. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. I'm going to get right into this right away. Tell me how I'm sounding. Am I sounding cool? Am I okay? Am I fine? No glitches, no nothing? Cool. Let me know. LibertyNews.com. Muslim political power play. American Islamic groups join forces ahead of 2014 midterm. Norvell Rose, an award-winning journalist, has written this for LibertyNews.com. Is this the new force of politics? The new block of swing voters that could change the American political landscape? Introducing the U.S. Council on Muslim Organizations, a newly formed coalition of 10 Muslim groups whose stated purpose is to make a bigger impact in American politics. Organizations in the council include some of the most active in Muslim American life, among them CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, the Islamic Circle of North America, and the Muslim American Society. According to religionnews.com, the executive director of CARE described the formation of the Muslim coalition in grand terms. Quote, "This is a dream of every American Muslim to unify the approach, agenda, and vision of the Muslim community." Unquote. CARE, of course, has its critics and detractors. Judicial Watch has issued a report entitled CARE Impeded FBI Probe of Somali Group and Kenya Attack, unquote. The report says, in part, quote, "The Al-Qaeda affiliate that terrorized a Kenyan shopping center and murdered scores of innocent people has a powerful and influential advocate in the United States, the Muslim, quote-unquote, civil rights group known as the Council on American Islamic Relations. In addition to Judicial Watch, other organizations have pointed to evidence of CAIR's affiliations with and support of known Islamic terrorist groups. It's certainly interesting to note that the formation of this council to increase the political influence of American Muslims was announced at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. The National Press Club. And the National Press has said what about this event? Bottom line is, folks, I know people are going to get all pissed off at about, with what I'm going to say. I've already said it in the first, opening of the show. But I know Muslims who would give their shirt off their back to help you out. Not all of them are bad, so don't lump them into one category. But there are organizations out there that are undermining the constitutional rights of every citizen in America. And their sole purpose is to destroy Christianity and Judaism and any other religion that doesn't believe what they believe. I know that's going to piss off a lot of people, but you better look at the facts, and you better take a very close look at who these people are. I'm telling you right now. Now, again, like I said, we have a lot to go into today. I wanted to get that out of the way because I needed to tell you what I felt about it. From Rifles and Reasons on Facebook, they put up a photo. A photo has a little blurb from the Armed Skeptic. For whenever the an anti-quote minds the two A's well-regulated part. The picture says this: when anti-gunners interpret the quote-unquote well-regulated part of the Second Amendment to mean endless bureaucracy rules, they are committing an equivocation. There we go, that's the word. Equivocation fallacy. The Second Amendment reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The phrase, well-regulated, was in common use long before 1789 and remained so for a century thereafter. It referred to the property of something being in proper working order, collaborated correctly, functioning as expected. Establishing government oversight of the people's arms was not only the intent of using the phrase in the Second Amendment, it was precisely to render the government powerless to do so that the founders wrote it. If you click on the picture, there's a bunch of comments. Now, somebody said in the comments, only public school indoctrination of statism could allow anyone to think that the Constitution had anything to do with regulating people or limiting the people's rights. I could argue that as well. Another commenter says, I'm tired of explaining to people that well-regulated means disciplined, not covered with lots of laws. I agree with that. The ignorance of not just the anti-gunners, but a lot of other people who aren't even especially political is just astounding. Somebody else said, speaking of taking words out of historical context, quote-unquote, the right of the people back then really meant the right of the white people. And that's in quotes, this person writes. Not that way we interpret it now, obviously. I have to think that if the founding father slave owners had known that this amendment would eventually apply to black people being able to run around freely with their own guns, they might have made a change or two, and we may not be having this debate. Someone else says, I tell them they're taking the words out of historical context. There's also a link there in the comments from Constitution.org. J. Neil Schulman, the unabridged Second Amendment. Constitution.org. Ooh. That, my friend, is a jet, if you heard that. Had to go silent there. I don't know if that's a passenger jet or a fighter jet, but it sure sounds like a fighter jet to me. I'm about a mile away from the airport. The Reno International Airport is the home base for the Air National Guard, just to let you know. So, the Second Amendment. Hey, politicians, what part of shall not be infringed don't you understand? I'm just wondering. Want to get into this, too, before the bottom of the hour break. TheBlaze.com, Harry Reid wants to amend the Constitution. Isn't that lovely of Mr. Reid wanting to do that, thinking that we're stupid? Isn't that just wonderful of him to want to do that? Hey, Senator Dean Heller, you better slap your bitch in the face and tell him that the Constitution is not to be amended at all, anywhere whatsoever. Yeah, you heard me right. Let me tell you something else before I get into that article. We live in the United States of America, which will soon be the United Socialist State of America, which will soon have a dictatorial leader. You can probably guess who that might be. I say might because certain things are happening behind the scenes with the American patriots that could end very well and be very positive where we keep our freedoms and liberties. But let's just have faith that our patriots behind the scenes know what they're doing. Okay? Tomorrow, May 16th, American Spring, Washington, D.C. I hope to hell we have 500,000 people out there, if not 1 million or more. We need to make a statement, and that statement is, we the people take a stand against our tyrannical government and will, by the grace of God and anything that we can get our hands on, we will change history by any means necessary. Brian Lang from LiveTruthRadio.com and Live Truth Radio on WakingUpTheMasses.com is going to be out there. Bob Brutus behind the scenes at Waking Up the Masses Radio Network is hopefully going to have live stream video from Mr. Lang, so we will see for ourselves what is happening. I want everybody in that area of Washington, D.C., everybody in that area within a 5-hour or 10-hour drive, hit the road now to get there by tomorrow. Because your voice is powerful. We the people and the voice of we the people are the most powerful voice in this country. And if these criminal politicians don't understand that, then the midterm elections that we have coming up will wipe that Congress clean of all the criminals. Oh, yes. And Mr. Chucky Schumer, Democrat of New York, you're going to be on the unemployment line. You too, Mr. Harry Reid. So I don't want to hear any more about it. You people need to get up off your ass and go do something. You need to be strong like we were. We are a resilient nation. We are a resilient people. We've been through wars. We've been through hell and back. We've been through changes that would have devastated any other country. But when we the people spoke up, oh, guess what? The politicians went to the corner and started sucking their thumb because they knew that they were beat. But you see, we're not out of the woods yet, folks. The Bilderberg meeting in Copenhagen, Denmark, is happening. And what they say, the leaders of the world have to do. That's one thing we have to guard ourselves against and defend ourselves from. We need to make it known all over the world that the Bilderberg Group needs to be disbanded. And if they don't do it voluntarily, then I'm sure there's millions of people that will make it happen. There's millions of people in the United States of America. At last count, 310 million people. Probably 2/3 of those are adults working, trying to save a buck and take care of their family. But I guarantee you, you piss us off, you'll see what happens. Got it? Civil disobedience. Go out into the streets and start yelling and screaming and holding up signs and telling everybody where you stand and that we need to get rid of these criminal politicians, even in our city councils and our county governments. We the people have a voice. You are that voice. Going to theblaze.com, Harry Reid wants to amend the Constitution by Pete Kasperowitz, I guess. Sorry, Pete, didn't mean to butcher your name. Over at theblaze.com. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Democrat in Nevada. Excuse me. Senator Harry Reid, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Democrat of Nevada, on Thursday said the Senate would vote in the coming weeks on legislation for a constitutional amendment to give Congress the power to regulate spending levels in federal campaigns. Isn't that wonderful? I saw an article yesterday where Harry Reid wanted to amend the Constitution to limit freedom of speech. Go look that up. Harry Reid proposes limits to freedom of speech. Reid said Democrats are pushing for the vote to combat what he said is an effort by billionaires Charles and David Koch to, quote-unquote, buy the U.S. Senate this year. He said that effort is allowed in light of the Supreme Court decision that prevents limitations on political spending and said Congress must act to save democracy from the rich. Kind of calling the kettle black, aren't you there, Mr. Harry Reid? Quote, it's unacceptable that the recent Supreme Court decisions have taken power away from the American voter instead giving it to a select few of mega billionaires, unquote, Reid said on the Senate floor. By the way, Harry Reid, former gaming commissioner, born in Searchlight, Nevada, apparently, allegedly, took a lot of money for his campaign. Wasn't worth a whole hell of a lot before he got into Congress, but after he got into Congress, oh my God, he's worth a whole bunch of money now. I wonder why. Can you say lobbyists and special interest groups? Can you say criminals? Statistics show that Nevada is the most corrupt state in the union. Reid said the vote would be held shortly on a proposed constitutional amendment from Senators Tom Udall, Democrat of New Mexico, and Michael Bennet, Democrat of Colorado, S.J. Resolution 19. Quote, soon, Chairman Leahy in the State Judiciary Committee will hold a hearing on Senate Udall and Bennett's constitutional amendment, Reid said. The Senate will vote on that legislation. Later on Thursday, Leahy announced on a June 3rd hearing to discuss Udall's proposed constitutional amendment. Specifically, the resolution would let Congress regulate the way money is raised and spent in federal campaigns, and let states do the same in statewide campaigns. It would also let Congress regulate spending on political action committees. In other words, How much you want to make a bet that if this goes through, if this gets passed, Mr. Harry Reid's got his hand deep in the pockets of somebody, and he's only targeting the Koch brothers. He's not targeting his people that fund him, is he? Reid has used the Senate floor to berate the Koch brothers for the last few months, at a time when many believe Republicans could win back the upper chamber in November midterm elections. On Thursday, he noted press reports detailing a memo from the Koch brothers, Americans for Prosperity, which was titled, quote, confidential investor update, unquote. Reid said it was fitting that the memo was called an investor update, since the Koches are looking to buy the Senate for the Republicans. You get where he's going with this, folks? Quote, they absolutely expect monetary return on their investments in buying America, unquote, he said. He also criticized the Supreme Court's finding that spending money on campaigns is equivalent to free speech and therefore is not something the government can regulate. Reid said that if that's true, that's the same as saying poor people have less speech than the rich. Quote, if this unprecedented spending is free speech, where does that leave our middle-class constituents, the poor? It leaves them out in the cold, he said. Quote, there should be no $1 million entry fee to participation in our democracy, unquote. I said that before, and I'll say it again. I said it in the podcast earlier today. Get corporate money out of politics. It's on both sides, Mr. Harry Reid. Why aren't you going after your moron, libtard special interest groups and lobbyists? Huh? Considering that you were one of the people, and I could be wrong in this, Mr. Reid, but you were one of the people that signed this little document, this little bill that went through, allowing all of your Congress colleagues insider trading on the New York Stock Exchange, which before was illegal. Yeah. See where I'm going? Yeah, Mr. Harry Reid's got his hand caught in a cookie jar again. He just can't keep his damn mouth shut about it either. Oh, look, yeah, I'm taking cookies. No, but it's the other person. Look, over there. Don't look at me. Look at them over there. It's them. Yeah. We need to regulate them, not me. That's what Harry Reid's saying. I don't know, folks. I really, honestly do not get it. Okay? I honestly do not get it at all. Okay? People see this stuff right out in front of their face. Are they completely blind, or are they just stupid? They see what's going on. Well, you got to understand that there's certain ways that... Look, folks, I've played chess. I beat some very good players. Now, I don't want to hear any more excuses. Open your damn eyes and look at what's going on. I need to get Brian Lang on the show, man. You think I get pissed and riled up? Holy mackerel. Holy mackerel. He's not that bad. Hey, Brian, enjoy your trip over there to Washington, D.C. Looking forward to seeing the live stream on wakingupthemasses.com. Folks, I got a Take a little break here. It's the bottom of the hour. Don't go anywhere there, all right? Don't go anywhere. Just stick right around there and you'll be fine. And we'll be right back, eh? Okay, good. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Are you tired of listening to boring online late-night radio? Then listen to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern. Go to www.latenightinthe.midlands.com for more information.
Join the National Down Syndrome Society's My Great Story campaign
to honor and celebrate the amazing stories of the 400,000 Americans with Down syndrome.
If you had Down syndrome, tell us about your achievements, dreams, and aspirations.
If you know someone who has Down syndrome, tell us how they've inspired you.
Visit ndss.org/stories to share your great story.
Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Waking up the masses. Truth, knowledge, and wisdom for your consumption. Waking up the masses. News and views concerning the New World Order. Waking up the masses. Join Bob Brutus as he pulls back the curtain on the esoteric agenda which has been in play for a millennia. Waking up the masses. WakingUpTheMasses.com.
Lock it on to the best station on the net, around the planet on the World Wide Web.
Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back to the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. Hey, see you later, Phil. He's in the Spreaker chat. Paranormal Phil from SRC Paranormal. And, yeah. Have a good day. Anyway. How you doing? You doing good? You ever have one of those moments where you're talking to someone and all of a sudden your nose just decides to, everything just clogs up all at once? That's why it took me so long to get back, man. I was just like, holy crap, I can't, I was like, I'm on playing that, I can't do that. It's just, I don't know. It happens. Yeah, anyway. Hey, freeamericaradio.us. Go to Emergency Food Supply tab. Get your emergency food supply today and help out Free America Radio Network as well. Get to the next level. Or donate. There's a donate button there as well on the front page at freeamericaradio.us. Do what you can. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. Also, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. And let me give you a couple of things here. Okay, now what do you guys know about net neutrality? Well, they couldn't get the fairness doctrine through, so they're trying something else. Consider this, folks. Consider this. The internet is the last bastion of free speech, and it has to be free at all times. No limitations. I don't care what platform you're doing a podcast on or whatever. It doesn't matter. Free speech. And if that free speech gets to the point where the platform decides, well, we're going to use your image for our advertising, then guess what? I'm going to brand myself and my name and anything that I do. So from that point on, you're going to pay me. That is just the way it is. So, somebody once asked me, what do I think of businesses that are strictly on the internet? I think it's good. If you have to take care of yourself and you have the capabilities and the experience to do that, you go right ahead and do that. And go ahead, do that. I mean, I'm doing it. Not making a dime yet, but I'm doing it. But the fact of the matter is that people have to understand that you don't make a whole lot when you go into business for yourself right up front. And it does take a little time. I've talked to a lot of businessmen, and they said they were in debt for 2, 3, 4 years before they even made a profit. They were running their line of credit to the max because they just, couldn't pay the rent, couldn't pay the overhead, whatever. And they got into, a lot of deep holes until they made a profit. And it's really, really tough for anybody in this environment right now to start a business. I mean, they do. We see it here in Reno, Nevada all the time. We see businesses go in and 6 months later they're gone. Why? Either they don't have the product that people want, or they're in the wrong location, or the economy just sucks. But I believe that the information that I share with you is valuable. But how valuable is it? Excuse me. Is it so valuable that you can look at the internet as being the last bastion of free speech and say, you know what? I want to support that organization over there, whatever it is, whatever you're looking at. Or specifically with me, I want to support Free America Radio Network because they got some good stuff over there. And they speak the truth. And they have the facts. They don't know it all. They don't walk on water. But at least it makes me think. And you know what? That's entirely up to you. Now, the reason why I say all of that was because of the fact that I see these ads on Facebook and I see these ads elsewhere. I have a Netflix account and all that, and I watch movies and, this kind of thing. But every website you go to on the right-hand side or the left-hand side or at the top or the bottom, you see ads. It's all over the place. My question is, why are you seeing that? Well, bottom line is people want to have a forum or have a place where they can diversify, They may have a brick and mortar business, but they get on the internet. One of the stories I heard about Hardcore Pawn, if you've ever seen that show out of Detroit, one of the sons, this guy's been around for many, many years, the owner and all that. And one of the sons said, "Hey, Dad, I can sell this stuff on eBay and sell it online." And really, that's not going to make any money, blah, blah, blah. He's just all against it and everything. And all of a sudden, the son said, screw it. He did it anyway, and the place started making money. And Dad's going, "Hey, great idea. Let's do that." So he was against it, and then he was for it, kind of like Congress. But when you look at the foundation of what we have in society, it was all built on entrepreneurship. It was all built on an idea that somebody had and said, "You know what? I'm going to open up a store and sell this." Famous Amos cookies, Mrs. Field cookies, C's candy. I mean, you name it. You name it. And even Walmart, Sam Walton, started a little 5 and dime, or what we call it that. It was a little bit bigger than that probably. But it just grew and grew and grew and grew. Why? Because people wanted it. People saw a use for it. People saw value in it. You can look back at the old pictures of the mercantile stores, the general stores in the 1800s. Somebody had an idea and went, "Hey, cool, I think I'll go open up a store." That was before they overregulated everything and screwed everybody up. But you get my point. You know the value of something. You know what it's worth. And frankly, when you get down to it, you know what you're worth. I say all that because I'm going to lead into the next story with this. It's not about the amount of money you make in the position that you have at work. It's about the value you are to that position. Go look it up, Department of Labor statistics. It's out there. You are worth more than those people are paying you. But unfortunately, we got to do a reality check, folks. The economy doesn't have the base to support the money you should be making in that position. Okay? Unfortunately. But this is where I know people have gone out and started their own business and are making the money they want. Okay? So, I got to look here. You can probably find it yourself. McDonald's is going to put in 7,000 kiosks. In the last several weeks, you've heard about this big brouhaha about raising the minimum wage. $10.10 an hour. Congress is looking into that. Well, guess what? McDonald's just went, "Screw you people, and we ain't paying anymore." That's just the way it is. They're putting in 7,000 kiosks. You walk up to the counter, punch in what you want, boom, people in the back make it, there you go. You run your credit card through it, boom, done, no cash, no nothing, that's it. How's that raising the minimum wage fight going for you folks? Because you're going to be out of work. Okay? So go look that up. McDonald's installs 7,000 kiosks. Kiosks. K-I-O-S-K. Okay? So anyway, entrepreneurship works. It builds the communities. It helps the communities. You, the mom and pop, can do this. Screw the corporations. Get them out of here. Okay? Well, they have a lot, we can't shop locally because, the prices are too high. And because the economy's not so good, we have to save our money. Hey, are your kids 18, 19 years old living at home wanting to go to college? Yeah, they can pay their way through college, I'm sure. You don't have to take out a loan and second and third mortgage on your house just to send them to college. By the way, they're all governmental indoctrination institutes. Why do you want to do that? Why are you putting good money? Why are you putting good money along with the bad money? You know what I'm saying? I know I goes to run off on tangents anywhere, folks. I can do that. From NewYorkTimes.com, NYTimes.com. FCC votes to move ahead on net neutrality plan. Edward Wyatt over at NY Times. Thank you, Ed. The Federal Communications Commission voted 3-2 on Thursday to move forward with a set of proposed rules aimed at guaranteeing an open internet, prohibiting high-speed internet service providers from blocking or discriminating against legal content flowing through their pipes. Let me break that down to hot dogs and potato chip language for you. Federal Communications Commission voted 3-2 on Thursday, that would be today, to move forward with a set of proposed rules. You can click on that link there. It says a set of proposed rules. You'll go to fcc.gov for protecting and promoting open internet. Aimed at guaranteeing an open internet, prohibiting high-speed internet service providers, prohibiting high-speed internet service providers from blocking or discriminating against, oh, get this word, folks, legal content flowing through their pipes. While the plan is meant to prevent data from being knowingly slowed by internet providers, it would allow content providers to pay for guaranteed fast lanes of service. Some opponents of the plan argue that allowing some content to be sent along a fast lane would essentially discriminate against content not sent along that lane. Three Democratic commissioners on the five-member panel, including the chairman Tom Wheeler, voted in favor of opening the plan to public comment. The plan will be open for comment for 4 months, beginning immediately. The two Republicans who voted against the plan said that it exceeded the agency's legal authority and that there had been no evidence of actual harm or deviation from net neutrality principles, and that elected members of Congress should decide the issue, not regulatory appointees. FCC staff members explained that the proposal would aim to enhance the transparency rules that requires internet service providers to tell consumers how they manage their traffic, a regulation that was upheld by the court and would set, quote, commercially reasonable, unquote, standard to judge conduct that is not covered by a blanket no-blocking rule. The proposed rules would also include an enforcement mechanism and establish an omnibudsman to help investigate complaints from the public and provide guidance about the Commission's processes. Folks, let me just break this down for you. Bureaucracy at its finest. Bureaucracy at its finest. Okay? It's a bunch of people getting together in a committee to vote on how they're going to do something, but then leave it to the public where they know they're not going to listen to anyway, to get feedback from other bureaucrats who are going to say, well, maybe we should do this and maybe we should do that. And the FCC pretty much has, governmental overreach, permission, really, to do whatever they want. So it boils down to this. They know that people are seeing this issue. They know that people understand this issue. So they're going, well, let's let the people comment on this. When you know full well they're not going to look at the comments anyway. It doesn't matter to them. They're going to do whatever it is they want. In other words, instead of the ISP, your internet service provider, slowing down or throttling your service, the FCC is going to come along and pull the plugs on several areas and say, screw you, we're in control. See? Although, hey, let me say, I could be wrong in that. I could be. I could be. Don't know. I'm just giving you my opinion. It's all right, but this is what I see. I see that the FCC is overreaching, looking at the federal government, looking at internet service providers and saying, screw you, we're in control. We'll tell you what you can and cannot do. Instead of the ISP saying, wait a minute, we got freedom of speech. We got freedom of expression. We're covered under these rules and regulations, not yours. Well, the FCC puts their big middle finger up to the ISPs and says, we're going to do whatever we want. Because they can. Oh, and by the way, I got a question for you. Why does the Department of Agriculture need submachine guns? That's what it says right there. Free America Radio on Facebook from libertynews.com. Why does the U.S. Department of Agriculture need submachine guns? Like how I just segue from FCC to the Department of Agriculture? libertynews.com. Norvell Rose, A.W.R. Hawkins over at Breitbart.com does a good job keeping his eye on the increasing militarization of the federal bureaucracy. How more and more government agencies and departments are acquiring lots of guns and ammo. The latest federal bureaucracy to arm up is the Department of Agriculture. According to the Hawkins story, Department of Agriculture orders submachine guns with 30-round magazines. Quote, a May 7th solicitation by the U.S. Department of Agriculture seeks, quote, the commercial acquisition of submachine guns including 40 caliber Smith & Wesson. I should say that's what they're looking at, and that's quoted there from Breitbart. So you might reasonably be wondering, why does the AG department need such weaponry? Could it have anything to do with the USDA agency, the Forest Service? Recently, in New Mexico, the Otero County Commission defied the agency and ordered the local sheriff to open a Forest Service gate to allow cattle to access much-needed water. And there's a link there to that story. And, of course, other western state land use issues have cropped up, pitting locals against feds. The Bundy Ranch confrontation was the highest-profile such case. Constitutional sheriffs, hello, over here in Nevada, hello. I'm about 9.5 hours north of Bundy Ranch. Let me tell you something, sheriffs. You either stand on the Constitution or we the people will accept your resignation in 72 hours. Over 400 sheriffs across the country will defy governmental orders coming down from Washington, D.C. Why? Because they stand on the Constitution and for the people. How about you, Mr. Douglas Gillespie, Clark County Sheriff? You want to get up in my face? I got the Constitution. What do you have? Huh? Hey, folks out in Chickamauga, Georgia area listening to me on 1610 AM. How's your county sheriff out there? Make doubly, triply, quadruply sure that your sheriffs are constitutional. If not, you better push to get them out. Hey, Mr. Bob Brutus, want to run for sheriff? Just putting it out there. Anyway. Wouldn't that be a spectacle to see, eh? Oh, I don't know, folks. I don't know. How can anyone living in today's society, living in the United States specifically, ever ignore the blatant disregard of constitutional rights by so-called county sheriffs? Okay? How can you ignore that? Okay? I I don't see how you can ignore that. I don't see how it could possibly happen. It's kind of weird. Here, let me give you an example. It's kind of weird. I'm sure you've driven around your town and seen an accident or seen a bunch of police and emergency vehicles around an accident. And what's the first thing you do? Oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But you drive by really slow to see if you can see the dead bodies. Are you out of your freaking mind? I used to work for a mortuary for 3.5 years for the we had the contract for the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office to pick up all the deceased individuals. And I've been to accidents. I've been to hangings. I've been to suicides. I've been to homicides. Let me tell you something. It's not a pretty sight, folks. So here we have a government that is looking at you through their scope on their rifle. And the agriculture department just ordered up a whole bunch of submachine guns. Hello, the DHS, 2.5 billion rounds of ammunition, and they're destroying 1 million rounds of ammunition as we speak if they haven't done it already. Why? Because you're not paying attention to what's right out in front of you? How can you ignore it? Hello, it's right there. You know? Now, I got to say this. I've heard Bob Brutus's show, Kicking the Capstone, and he gets a little frustrated. He tries to keep a level head, but I can hear the frustration in his voice, like telling people to wake the hell up. I just come right out and tell you, wake the hell up, because it's right out in front of you. He's nicer about it, I guess. I don't know. he's nicer about it. Yeah, Kicking the Capstone with Bob Brutus. He tells you, who, what, where, and how, and who's doing what to who, and, where it's all coming from, and he gives you name, places, dates, and all of that. So you got to go listen to Kicking the Capstone. It's an awesome show, man. And that's Kicking the Capstone with Bob Brutus over on WakingUpTheMasses.com. Awesome show. I give Bob a bunch of crap, but he knows it. He's all right. He's down there in Georgia. I got family down there. My brother's father-in-law is from Georgia. So, yeah. So, anyway. Hey, another show you got to go listen to. Tomorrow, especially, on WakingUpTheMasses.com. Hopefully the video stream will work. And that is Live Truth Radio with your host, Brian Lang. You think I'm pissed off? You ever heard that show, folks? Holy crap. He's got some really cool guests on, man. Charles Strange was on yesterday. Awesome interview. And if you don't know who that is, or if you haven't heard that interview, go back to the archives in WakingUpTheMasses.com and check it out. Awesome. What else? Oh, there's just so much. There is just so much. I want to remind folks that you can come check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. I know that's a mouthful. Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com and on grabbagshow.weebly.com. Check it out. Jump in the chat room on the Spreaker side of things and say hi. And if you and tell me if you've heard this as well. I always tell people, email me. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're listening and all that. And guess what? Zip, no emails, man. Come on, man. Send me. I feel alone, man. Anyway, folks. Hey, I got to take a little break here. It's the top of the hour coming up right about, in about 20 seconds. So email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. The website is freeamericaradio.us. freeamericaradio.us. I shall return right after this.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Under fire from veterans groups demanding his resignation, VA Secretary Eric Shinseki testifying today at a Senate hearing, focusing on allegations of treatment delays and preventable deaths at a Phoenix VA hospital. Shinseki says he knows the agency has to do better.
It's important for me to assure veterans to regain their trust, whatever has been compromised here, that when they come to VA, they come to a good, safe, caring system.
Shinseki hopes to have a preliminary report on the Phoenix allegations soon, but Senator Jerry Moran says there have already been dozens of reports on other VA issues.
We have had review after review, Inspector General report after Inspector General report, questions by this committee and the House Veterans Affairs Committee that as a result, as far as I can tell, has resulted in no action by the Department of Veterans Affairs.
He's among several senators publicly calling for Shinseki to step down. Also at srnnews.com, it's a sacred place of healing and hope. That's how President Obama describes the September 11th museum in New York. The president telling an audience at today's dedication ceremony that those we lost on that terrible day live on in the hearts of their fellow Americans.
In the families who love them still. In the friends who remember them always. And in a nation that will honor them now and forever.
Rescue teams in Turkey have recovered another 8 victims from a coal mine disaster that raises the death toll to 282. More than 140 others are still unaccounted for, according to the Turkish government. On Wall Street, the Dow is down about 171 points, the Nasdaq off 49. This is SRN News.
The buyers at Lumber Liquidators just secured unheard-of deals direct from the mills on top-quality laminate and vinyl flooring for their laminate and vinyl flooring liquidation sale going on until this Tuesday. I'm talking over 80 different laminate floors on sale, 12 under 80 cents a square foot, including donor oak for just 49 cents. Get great deals on bamboo and hardwood flooring, too, like pre-finished solid red oak for just $2.59 and 10% off Morning Star bamboo. Go to lumberliquidators.com right now and find the store nearest you.
Do you have a family member who's getting older and can no longer be safely left alone? With Visiting Angels America's Choice in Senior Home Care, your parents and older family members can continue living at home and not have to move into a nursing home. Experienced, compassionate caregivers provide assistance in hygiene, meal preparation, and light housework up to 24 hours per day at affordable rates. To restore your family's peace of mind, call Visiting Angels toll-free today at 877-374-LIVE or at visitingangels.com.
An update on the state of the European economy.
The prospects for the Eurozone have improved in recent months, but as growth returns to the region, France is struggling to keep up. Germany showed growth of 0.8% in the first quarter. In France, no growth at all. In a bid to reduce the inflated cost of labour, the new Prime Minister Manuel Valls forced through 50 billion euros of savings last month, which included a freeze on public sector pay for 3 years.
That's a BBC's Christian Fraser in Paris. The British Foreign Secretary says a political end to the war in Syria is distant, and international opponents of President Bashar Assad must unite to ensure the moderate opposition survives. Foreign Secretary William Hague spoke after meeting Secretary of State Kerry and other foreign ministers at a Friends of Syria meeting of 11 Western and Arab countries. This is SRN News. Home builders are feeling a bit less confident about their near-term sales prospects.
The National Association of Home Builders Wells Fargo Builders Sentiment Index fell this month to 45. That's down 1 point from a revised reading of 46 in April. Readings below 50 indicate that more builders view sales conditions as poor than good. Several of the nation's biggest home builders have reported in recent weeks that sales were held back earlier this year by the severe winter weather that battered much of the country. Bob Agnew, SRN News.
Prosecutors say former New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez, already facing a murder charge in a man shooting death last year, has been indicted on new murder charges in an unrelated 2012 double killing in Boston. The victims were shot to death as they sat in a car on Boston's South End. The gunman drove up alongside in an SUV and opened fire. More details at srnnews.com.
Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the views expressed live for the 15th of May, 2014. How y'all doing? Go to freeamericaradio.us for more information. Email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. How y'all doing today? Hello, Mr. Bob Brutus over at Waking Up the Masses Radio Network. He's on right after me, I believe. I would think. Go listen to Kicking the Capstone with Bob Brutus. Check him out. Yes. Awesome show. Yes. Go to Free America Radio Network on Facebook. Scroll on down, you'll see something from Reason.com. Sriracha, is that Sriracha? I don't know. Sriracha CEO compares California to communist Vietnam. What? Told you, folks. Get out of California. You people need to just get a clue. From the Hit and Run blog over at Reason.com. Zenon Evans wrote this. Thank you. David Tran is the founder and CEO of Hu Fong Foods, the maker of the famously tasty Sriracha hot sauce. Grappling for months with regulators and politicians in Southern California about the spicy scents that his factory emits, Tran recently compared meddlesome government to that of a communist country. It might sound hyperbolic, but he does know a thing or two about living under nightmarish bureaucracy of a red utopia. NPR explains that Tran, quote-unquote, escaped Socialist Republic of Vietnam and, quote, its many intrusions, unquote, 3 decades ago to start a new life in the land of the free. Quote, today I feel almost the same. Even now we live in the USA, and my feeling, the government, not a big difference, unquote, Tran said on Monday from his factory outside of Los Angeles. It's not the first time he's spoken about the issue. He previously accused the local government of hating him and wanting to shut him down and said that the Irwindale City Council acts like a local king. Last month, the City Council deemed the $80 million business a public nuisance for giving off a peppery odor. In 2013, the city sued Tran despite lobbying to get him to move Hu Fong Foods there in the first place. And California health regulators shut down the factory for 30 days based on suspicious claims. Tran has received offers from public officials throughout the country that want to court Hu Fong Foods. Texas, which is far more business-friendly than California, has made the biggest push. But because his peppers are grown locally, Tran said he won't move the current operation. He did indicate that he may open another factory elsewhere to meet the growing demand for the sauce. There's the interview and the video, 8 minutes and 5 seconds. I want to say this about California. Even though it's my home and it's got some beautiful cities out in San Mateo, San Jose, San Francisco, out in those areas. Lots of great mountains out there. And, of course, industrial light and magic is out there, So, lots of things going on for California. Lots of positive things in California. But the fact of the matter is that the California government sucks. Okay? You can't do a damn thing in that state without being, first looked at for 6 months to see if you're legitimate. And then you're overregulated, extremely overregulated, I should say, to the point of not even being able to get a profit, and they make it very, very hard to start a business. Okay? Now, some of you Californians who have businesses can correct me if I'm wrong. That's okay, not a problem. But look at it now in the last 5.5, 6 years. Okay? Seriously. There's a lot of things that are going on in California that are good, but overregulation will kill it within the next year, year and a half, 2 years. Now, where do you go if California collapses? Well, considering that Nevada is now getting an influx of people from California, and because Harry Reid is, from here, it makes me wonder why you would want to move here. Why did I move here? Let's just say I've got some things in the works. I'll just leave it at that. But as far as I'm concerned, California is dead and is no longer viable for any business to go there. Businesses are leaving, except for Hufong Foods. Clark County, where Las Vegas is courting a lot of people because, well, people here are out of work. 25% of Nevada is unemployed. Kind of an odd number, or I think it's like 23.5% or something like that. Kind of an odd number considering that 25% of the population of Nevada is illegal immigrants or legal immigrants. Let's just say immigrants. I'll leave it at that. They're working. I wonder why. Interesting. Anyway, just speculation, folks. Just speculation. Hopefully tomorrow, just a little show note here. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a guest on. I have to get confirmation, though, and I'll let you know who that is when the time comes. But hopefully, just got to get confirmation. So, California. I like to joke about California because I was born and raised there. California, the land of the fruits and nuts, and I'm not a fruit. Just saying, just putting it out there, just laying it out there on the table for all of you to see, okay? Just letting you know. There's a lot of good places out there. Napa Valley, wine country is really cool. I've been out there. It's beautiful country out there. Been to San Francisco, love it. We're going back in July, so I love the city. If anybody is out in California and San Francisco, you guys got a great town out there. Unfortunately, you got too many regulations that really pisses off a lot of people. Do you understand that? Okay, I'm just saying. You guys are a great city. I know a lot of people out there. Some of my relatives still live in San Francisco, and I got to tell you, it's a great city. I love it, and if I could afford it, I'd live there. But not in California, because the California government sucks. Okay? I'm just saying. Now, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Scroll on down. A little highlight from yesterday from grassfire.com. I'm going to say this. I listen to a lot of people, and I haven't listened to this man in many, many years because I listen to other people, and that's Rush Limbaugh. I like Rush Limbaugh. It's not like not going to move, not going to do anything without him snapping his fingers. I mean, I know some people that can't live unless they hear Rush Limbaugh say, oh, yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, that's just, they got some mental issues if that's the case. But the fact of the matter is I've listened to Rush Limbaugh, I've listened to Sean Hannity, I've listened to Glenn Beck, I listened to all these people. Mark Levin, I've listened to him, Michael Savage, I listen to a lot of people. And it's amazing how these people are pretty damn accurate, okay? I listen to Alex Jones, I listen to Glenn Beck, I listen to Pete Santilli, I've listened to Josh Tolley, I've listened to a whole bunch of people. I've listened to Brian Lang and Bob Brutus and Brian Keller. I've listened to, and guess what? We're right. Okay? We're right. We're telling you what's going on. and how it works. And the state-run media is looking at us going, no, don't look at the truth over there. Don't look at the facts over there. We have the script that we're telling you what you want to know, and you're going to listen to us because we know. Don't look over there on the other side of the room at the people. No. Don't look over there. No. That's what your state-run media is saying. I remember one time listening to someone describe how they, and this was quite a few years ago, described how they created a baseball game on the radio, all 9 innings, when there wasn't an actual baseball game going on. I've also heard different ways of doing things, saying things, There's this thing called neuro-linguistic programming that the military-industrial complex pretty much adheres to at this point. It's a lot of people came together and created it, but aside from that, you can look at stuff from Edward Bernays, you can look at stuff from George Orwell, of course, 1984, Aldous Huxley, whose brother was head of the UN, of a UN council. You can examine all of this. You can look at all of this and ask yourself and start questioning everything. Really ask yourself, what do I believe? Now, I asked that yesterday at the beginning of the show yesterday. That was redundant. Yesterday, I asked that very same question. What do you believe? The better question is, what do you want to believe? And let me tell you something, and I'm going to put this out here. I know people have read The Secret. I know people that have, read all these, self-help books and everything. And let me just bottom line it for you here. Just because you think positive or pray in the right direction or get a number of people together to send energy out and all this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. But your faith that it will work gives you a peace of mind that usually creates energy that is going to set things right. I said it slowly enough for you to understand that, but there are scientific and university studies directed at positive thoughts, prayer, all of that, and shows that there's really no difference between somebody positively thinking about something and praying. There's really no difference. The outcome is going to be the same, or almost, within a few percentage points. I say that because you can look out amongst yourselves and see what's going on and see how bad it is, and I ask you, what do you want to believe? And you're sitting, I don't want to believe any of this. This is just garbage. I want to steal. Let me tell you this, just because you close your eyes doesn't mean the bad things are going to go away. Okay? So you have no choice but to pay attention to it. You have no choice but to accept what it is. You have no choice at all. But you do have a choice as to what you allow into your life. You can't close your eyes and make the criminal that's about ready to, steal something from a store stop, just for a moment. You know what I mean? Remember when you were a kid and you heard noises in your bedroom and you put the covers over your head and you're like, I don't want to look. What was that scary monster in the dark saw you put the blankets over your head and then he went, oh man, see, now I can't get him because he got the blankets over his head. He's safe. Oh man. Just because you close your eyes doesn't mean the bad things are going to go away. You have a choice as to what you allow in your life. That's the choice you have. You don't have a choice as to what's happening around you because there's nothing you can do about that except decide whether or not you want to allow it in your life, in whatever manner you're thinking of. Now, to counter that, if there's something bad going on and all that, like we are having this, bull crap going on out of Washington, D.C., these people, these patriots, American Spring tomorrow in Washington, D.C., made that choice not allow that crap in their life. They had a choice. They stood up to the bully and went, "Piss off, dude. We're not having you. We're not allowing you to do this to us anymore." It's going on regardless of whether or not you want it, but you have a choice of whether or not you want it in your life. So these people that are going to Washington, D.C. are already there for American Spring tomorrow, made that choice not to allow that in their life. Again, what do you want to believe? What do you want to believe? It's entirely up to you. You can do whatever, you can believe whatever you want to believe. But what do you want to believe? A, do you want to allow the bad things to take hold of your life and screw you up permanently? Or B, do you want to stand up and tell those bad things, "Not in my backyard"? That's entirely up to you. I can't come over there and twist your arm and make you do something that you don't feel is best for you. And I can't do that. I can give you, the guides. I can show you, certain things and hopefully encourage you to take the steps to change things. But I can't do that for you. That's entirely up to you. I've dealt with a lot of things in my life, and I can tell you right now, I ain't putting up with the crap coming out of Washington, D.C. anymore. I'm done. I ain't putting up with stupid people anymore either. And don't give me this, crap that, they just don't know. They don't want to know. They don't, Yeah, I know this. That's why they're stupid. Why do you say that? Why do you say people are stupid? Well, let me rephrase that. Sure, there are stupid people out there. There are people tumbling a box of crayons, but here's the thing. People aren't aware of what's going on in front of them because they close their eyes, hoping the bad things will go away. And then they're not aware of what's going on. And frankly, they don't want to be aware of what's going on. They don't desire to be a part of life in ways that they could do something to change their environment instead of letting their environment change them. Because if you just close your eyes and push it away and say, "No, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to deal with this," your environment is changing you, and now it's time, like these people tomorrow at American Spring in Washington, D.C., they've had enough, and they're going to change the environment. Let's hope. But see, you don't have to go to Washington, D.C. to do that. You can do it right there in your own local area. You can go to your state capital and do it. So, what do you want to believe? It's a very simple question. It's a question that you have to answer yourself. What do you want to believe? I mean, I want to believe that this country is going to become better after the midterm elections. Is it? I hope so. But because I see the trends and I see the manipulation behind the scenes happening as it is, I know it's not going to be any better. I know that we're going to have a difficult time pushing against we're going to have a difficult time pushing against the New World Order if we do not take a stand now. We can change things. We can change our environment. But we have to want to. What do you want to believe? It's real simple, folks. What do you want to believe? I don't know too many people that would be able to answer that question in a positive light. Because I know a lot of people who just hide their eyes. They're just like, oh, forget it. I'm going to walk over here. I don't care. I'm just going to walk. I'm going to do my own thing. Blah, blah, blah. Pebbles in a pond, folks. Whatever somebody does will affect you. And the theory of the butterfly effect. Well, do this, folks. Do this. Fill your sink up and drop something in the water. You'll see the ripples. Right? And then put things that float around there and then drop a pebble in the middle of that, whatever you got those things, are. Just drop it right in the center of that and watch it how it affects everything else around it. What you do or don't do will affect those around you. What do you want to believe? It's real simple, folks. I didn't mean to get all philosophical on you, but hey, every once in a while you got to break down and really look at things. You have to break down and ask yourselves, what is your purpose in life? How is it you're going to get from point A to point B today? And what do you want to believe? I mean, it's simple as that. Go from there. I don't know, folks. If you got questions, I may have an answer. You can ask me anything you like. No question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. More than happy to answer any question you have. Just ask. That's all you got to do. Just ask. Go to the website, freeamericaradio.us, for more information. You can also go to freeamericaradio.us, click on the Emergency Food Supply tab, and get your emergency food supply today and help out Free America Radio Network get to the next level, if you would, please. Or donate, if you'd like. That would be awesome. Thank you. Excuse me. We're here Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com, FreeAmericaRadio.com, and also WakingUpTheMasses.com, and broadcasting on 1610 a.m. in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. FreeAmericaRadio.us, FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Want to know what's happening all around us? You do? Great! Come check out the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Have a nice trip. See you next fall. Attending their daughter's wedding in South Africa promised to be a vacation of a lifetime. But first, they had to face the treacherous gauntlet known as modern-day travel. Waiting for them on the other side of the world are an honest-to-goodness safari with amorous lions and elephants with anger issues, a life-affirming visit to a South African school, and an anxious bride and groom standing patiently at the airport with a sign that reads, "What took you so long?" The answers lie within the pages of Please Hold Thumbs, a not-so-round trip to South Africa, a true tale of turbulence and triumph from travel mug Scott Cherney, author of Red Asphalt. Available at Amazon.com in paperback and on the Kindle.
This is Michael Vera with Late Night in the Midlands, and you're listening to The Views Expressed live with your host, Reverend Wayne Pierce, on the Free America Radio Network.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the 15th of May, 2014. Welcome back to the last half hour of the show. The Views Expressed live Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com, on WakingUpTheMasses.com, on FreeAmericaRadio.us, and on 1610 AM in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. Go check out Bob Brutus and Kicking the Capstone on WakingUpTheMasses.com. Check out Brian Lang on Live Truth Radio on WakingUpTheMasses.com and also on LiveTruthRadio.com. Lots of things going on. Let's get back to the news, shall we? I was going to talk about Rush Limbaugh. How about this? And if I have too many tabs open on my browser, it kind of freaks out the old DJ console there on Spreaker. Grassfire.com, the left moves to hush Rush. Now, let me give you a disclaimer here, and this is my perspective. The Democrats want to shut down free speech. The Democrats want to limit what you can say. And they want to put all conservative radio out the pasture, let's say. The left moves to hush Rush. This is from Ron DeJong. Thank you, Ron, over at grassfire.com. Slipping poll numbers have Democrats seeking red and plotting to use the Federal Election Commission to intimidate and bully conservative media. There it is. Go check out the Federal Election Commission. According to the Daily Caller, FEC Chairman Lee E. Gordon warns that the federal government, including some officials in his office, may soon move to clamp down on conservative media. Specifically targeted will be their ability to endorse and promote candidates and issues without any limits or disclosure requirements. Goodman says, quote, "The right has begun to break the left's media monopoly, particularly through new media outlets like the internet, and I sense that some on the left are starting to rethink the breadth of the media exemption and internet communication," unquote. In other words, as Hillary Clinton once said, we are losing the info war. And you are. Unwilling to go quietly and defeat, Democrats are taking aim at conservative media, pushing for regulation that could, according to Goodman, lead to disparate treatment. That's in quote. That's DISPARATE of broadcasters such as Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity. If you oppose this desperate push to regulate and intimidate conservative media, including your internet experience, take immediate action. There's a link there where you can sign a petition. I suggest doing this, folks. Well, first of all, let me give you my take on this. It's the Democrats wanting to put the Republicans out of business. It's the liberals that want to push the conservatives over the cliff. It's Nazi Germany all over again. It's Chinese internet censorship. It's Russian mafia telling the rest of the people, hey, here's what we're going to do, and you're just going to have to accept it. Told you, folks, I'm done with stupid people. I'm done with stupid people. I'm not going to put up with their crap anymore. Now somebody said, well, that sounds kind of arrogant. No, it isn't. It's real. Get a brain in your head. Figure it out. Hell, you can go to Spreaker.com and spend a half hour, bashing me all you want. Doesn't matter. I know who I am. I know where I stand. I stand against people who are not educated enough to be aware enough and awake enough to see what's going on, that all they want to do is stick their head in the damn sand. Okay? I'm pretty sure, and Brian Lang, I'm going to put you, I'm going to use you as an example here, bud. I'm pretty sure Brian Lang had his head in the sand way too many times in his life, but then one time he went, wait, what? And that's when he began to see the truth and the facts. I'll tell you what. You got to take care of yourself. You got to do what you have to do, not across party line, not with your party. No. You have to take care of yourself. Oh, let me give you a reality check, folks. There is no such thing as political parties. What? If you want to continue to believe this whole fallacy of the left-right paradigm, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. It's bogus. Okay? Bogus. Doesn't exist. It's fraudulent. All it's there to do is to divide you. Okay? That's all it's there to do. Divide you. Now, why would you, as an intelligent, reasonable voter, I use that in quotes, why would you want to divide yourself and your loyalties against your own moral judgment? Huh? A house divided against itself cannot stand. Gives me the example that just came to mind, how some congressmen and women up there in Washington, D.C. were against certain bills, and then, oh yeah, they're for it. Whatever. Remember that? I look to you to give me information. I tell you to email me. I look forward to those emails. But I also look forward to you giving me information as to what's going on in your neck of the woods. Maybe clear out here in Nevada, we don't know what's going on, or I don't know what's going on in your neck of the woods. And I may see a story from where you live that may sound very, oh my God, it's God, whatever. And then I, talk to you online or post something on Facebook, and you come back going, no, that's not how it is. Well, how am I supposed to know? You got to email me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I get that all the time. I mean, I may post a meme or a story or something, and somebody in that area will post a response or email me and say, no, that article is totally false. That was this way, and here's what really happened. Well, I'd like to know. I would like to know. But see, if this show is of any value to you and you get something out of it, then, I can say for sure that what the Democrats want to do to use the Federal Election Commission, as it says here, slipping poll numbers have Democrats seeing red and plotting to use the FEC to intimidate and bully the conservative media. Because they know they're losing. They're losing big time. Okay? I'm nonpartisan. I really don't care. We don't need parties in this country. I agree with Jesse Ventura. Get rid of all the parties. Just get rid of them all. Done. Get rid of them. Just because we don't need them. Well, who are you going to vote for if they're not? You're a human freaking being and a citizen of the United States of America. You don't need an R or a D before your name to even get into politics. Hello? I'm done with stupid people. I'm not going to deal with them. Go away. Bye-bye. I'm just not. But I can tell you this. As long as we have the internet, as much as we have of it at this point, and as long as there's going to be the two-party system, there's always going to be somebody that's going to tell you, no matter who you are, that you're wrong. Well, guess what? Stupid people. I heard somebody once tell me stupid people need to be shot. I went, well, I wouldn't go that far. I would bury them in the sand up to their neck and release, very hungry red ants. And pour honey on their head. But I'm just saying, and I'm joking before someone takes that out of context. It's a joke, people. Put on your big boy pants and realize it's a joke. I don't know. Jeez. TheFreeThoughtProject.com. Police brag and laugh on camera about shooting a protester in the head with rubber bullets. What? Yeah, just a few weeks ago on the 30th of March. Elizabeth Ritter was shot 4 times with rubber bullets by police while she was protesting a free trade summit in Miami. This horrifying example truly shows the disconnect between police and the citizens they pose as protecting and serving. These police actually laugh at their victims in spite of the news cameras and hundreds of witnesses of which they were certainly aware. Arrogant and unchecked power now threatens to be the norm for every ever-increasing riot police. There's a video on that article, folks. It's only 2 minutes and 36 seconds long. We saw the same arrogant jackboot mentality in January of this year after 2 Fullerton, California cops were acquitted of the murder of Kelly Thomas. Remember that, folks? It was all over the news. A Fullerton resident who was arrested after protesting the acquittal of the officers involved in the death of Kelly Thomas said police laughed and joked about having a license to kill while asserting, quote, there's a pack of 12 cops waiting to smash your effing faces in, unquote. As long as the institution remains, the corruption and abuse will remain. It is time to imagine a post-police world. How about a post-political world in terms of the politicians in Washington, D.C. or your county or state governments? How about taking into consideration that you yourself are able to protect yourself? By the way, it takes an average, depending on the size of the town, it takes an average of 20 minutes for a police officer or sheriff's officer to come to your house after you dial 911. It only takes seconds to stop an intruder. I'm just saying, if you were able to protect yourself, it only takes seconds. Okay? You look back in history and you can see a whole lot of this stuff going on. You can see corruption in the White House. You can see corruption all over the place. I mean, imagine just for a minute a White House actually run by the people instead of by the corporations. Oh, by the way, didn't you know the United States is a corporation? Yeah, check it out. You can look back on people like Abraham Lincoln or John F. Kennedy, and that right there is an example of how the presidents wanted to change the system and make it for the people. They wound up with severe lead poisoning and a slight headache. I'm being sarcastic, folks, but you get the seriousness of that. You saw people like Theodore Roosevelt, who apparently, from some reports, was a very good president. I doubt that very seriously. Then you look at presidents like President Ulysses S. Grant, who was reluctant, to say the least, in ever wanting to be president. He said, I don't want to do this. But they talked him into it. You know? Now, I don't know, and like I said, folks, if I don't know, I don't know. I'll tell you. I don't know, you know? You know? I don't know why people ignore the obvious. Okay? I really don't. Honestly. It's in your face. It's right there. You open a door. It's like screaming at you like a banshee. There it is. Okay? Ulysses S. Grant, President, 1822 to 1885. He was a Republican. He was a commanding general of the U.S. Army from 1864 to 1869. Now, he was born 1822 and died 1885. I want people to understand just who these people were. Now, maybe Bob Brutus can help me understand a little more about these folks. Mr. George Washington, first president of the United States. And it goes down. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Adams, James Monroe, John Quincy Adams. Excuse me, did I miss one here? James Madison. There we go, sorry. John Quincy Adams. Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison. He was a Whig, W-H-I-G. John Tyler. He was a Whig and an independent. He changed his party in the middle of his presidency. James Polk, Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore, 1800 to 1874. He was president July 9th, 1850 to March of 1853. Franklin Pierce, probably a relation. James Buchanan, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, Rutherford B. Hayes, James A. Garfield, Chester A. Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, again Grover Cleveland. That's weird. He was president from March of 1885 to March of 1889. He was president from March of 1893 to 1897. I didn't know they could do that. William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William H. Taft, Woodrow Wilson. There's your progressives right there. Those three I just mentioned. Warren G. Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, Dwight D. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Richard Nixon. By the way, I've been alive since John F. Kennedy. Gerald R. Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H. W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and of course, Barack Obama. Living former presidents: Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush. Gerald Ford passed away in 2006 at the age of 93. I'm going to put this up on Free America Radio on Facebook. Check it out yourself, investigate it, do what you need to do, but that's your homework for the weekend, folks. What do you want to believe? It's very telling, I would think, that if you don't do anything, you've already decided what you want to believe. Now, let me give you an example. I like to play poker. I haven't played it in years, but when you're sitting there with 4 or 5 other people, you're playing poker, you got to keep your face so stoic that they can't tell you, what you're going to do next. And all they can do is guess. With that, as you look out amongst this landscape of tyranny, don't you think you would rather have the answers than guess? I know I would. I don't know about you. I know I would. But see, the people in the White House and the people that run this corporation called the United States don't really give a crap about what you want, whether you guessed correctly or not. They're going to do whatever they want, and you're in their crosshairs. They're going to run over you like a... They're so insane, they don't care what they do to you. The Bilderberg meeting is coming up in Copenhagen, Denmark at this point, next month. And I want people to understand that there is a shadow government. And I know Bob Brutus is probably listening to this, and he can pop in on the Spreaker chat and give me a 10-4 on that one, but the members of the Bilderberg Group, why are they called that? They met in Switzerland in the Bilderberg Hotel in 1954. That's when they were formed. But they run everything. And don't give me this, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Really? Prove it. They have this confab that they get together and they say, well, here's what we're going to do. Here's, and guess who's gone? Robert Gates has gone there. And when it was here in the U.S., Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York City, was there. Well, yeah, don't give me this crap that it's just, they're just people getting together to see what they can do and blah, blah. No, folks. They're the controllers of every single country in this world. And if they don't have their hands in manipulating the country, they have their minions do it. Okay? Let me tell you how quickly these people work behind the scenes. In 2006, I remember watching the political game of selecting the president get ramped up late 2006. And I remember hearing all these debates with Ron Paul and all these people that were running and blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear about this guy by the name of Barack Hussein Obama. Senator Obama. 2 years as a senator. He's running for president already. Or 4 years, whatever it was. having absolutely no experience, no military background, no nothing, freaking community organizer, and he comes out of nowhere. I remember this, late 2006, early 2007. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there going, whoa, time out. Where the hell did he come from? And then I remembered, the shadow government. I've been studying this stuff since Carter was president. And I know there's a shadow government. Bob Brutus knows there's a shadow government. Brian Lang knows there's a shadow government. But you, what do you want to believe? I saw this man come out of nowhere, become president, and I saw him screwing up the country as he is now. And why you asshats voted him in again, I have no clue. You had these people, and I've got the clip. As a matter of fact, maybe I've got a few minutes to find. I don't have enough time, but I think I can go over about a minute. Okay? I think. As soon as my thing wants to load here, let me play you this, and then we'll wrap it up after this. All right, folks? He comes out of nowhere and takes over, and we're in the shape that we're in now. So let me play this.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order. An order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Now, one side in this campaign has been telling us that the issues of this election are the maintenance of peace and prosperity. The line has been used, we've never had it so good.
I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's going to help me.
But I have an uncomfortable feeling that this prosperity isn't something on which we can base our hopes for the future.
The key point I'm making right now is that the economy is moving in a positive direction.
And yet our government continues to spend $17 million a day more than the government takes in.
You're telling me we got to go spend money to keep from going bankrupt? The answer, yeah, it's what I'm telling you.
We've raised our debt limit 3 times in the last 12 months. And now our national debt is 1.5 times bigger than all the combined debts of all the nations of the world.
We're going to raise the debt limit. We always have. We will do it again.
We have $15 billion in gold in our treasury. We don't own an ounce.
I have been informed that the majority plans to block consideration of this amendment, which is number 1367, regarding the transparency at the Federal Reserve.
Foreign dollar claims are $27.3 billion.
It said that China has now surpassed Japan as the U.S. government's largest creditor, owning at least 10% of all U.S. debt, perhaps as much as $700 billion.
And we've just had announced that the dollar of 1939 will now purchase 45 cents in its total value.
President Obama is expected to face tough questions over the U.S. decision to pump $600 billion freshly printed dollars into its economy. Now, the move is an attempt to revive the country's finances, but will result in the devaluation of the dollar.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours,
you'll construct a legal regime to make indefinite detention legal.
History will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening.
They're starting a riot here.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers.
For some trips, it'll be faster than flying without the pat down.
Anna was picked to go through. Pretty much everybody except the baby was picked to go through the scanner.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
Damn America, that's in the Bible.
Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
I've got a core set of values that I think have to be advanced, and that my individual salvation depends on our collective salvation.
You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down.
We had an election, and it was about a direction for our country.
And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. In this vote harvesting time, they use terms like the Great Society, or, as we were told a few days ago by the President, we must accept a greater government activity in the affairs of the people.
E pluribus unum, out of many, one. In the end, that's what this election is about.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Over the course of 10 years, it would cost what it would cost us. All right, okay, we're going to. It would cost us about the same as it would cost.
Hey, folks, I'm getting out of here. This is the Views Expressed Live, Free America Radio Network, freeamericaradio.us. Email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. We the people have the power, for we are America.